Jimmie Johnson draws even with Martin entering turn 1. Edges ahead in turn 2. The outside lane moves. Here comes Bowyer for third. Gets loose off the corner. Newman retakes third. Kenseth drops to the inside, and Bowyer fends him off. Rounding turn 4 for the first time. You're going to see a lot of that 48 out front today, including lap 1.
And you know, there's so much pride in leading the first lap. If you're on the pole, you want to prove that you got the fastest car. If you're not, you want to prove that you deserve to be on the pole.
Bowyer still up high, battling Kenseth for 4th place. Kevin Harvick on the inside in black and white, with Kyle Busch flanking him. 4 cars under a blanket off 4, and Kenseth clears Bowyer to take over 4th place.
Yeah, Clint got hung on the outside in that 15 car when he got loose off too, and he just now found the bottom of the racetrack. Daryl, I found it unusual. Mark Martin, our pole sitter, did not choose to start that race in the outside line.
Old school. I mean, that would be like I qualified second, man. He didn't want to do that.
Greg Biffle on the move. Must have been that Bergeron hat he wore riding around the track in pre-race. He gets loose but makes the pass on Harvick and moves Biffle's Ford up to 7th.
Right now it's like riding a skateboard. I mean, you're just all over the place, and the way this track is shaped, you see the straightaways are banked 9 degrees. They're short 1,000 feet. This joint right now, you got your hands full.
Looking at Greg Biffle in that 16 car, our points leader for 10 consecutive weeks. We were talking this week after watching him lead the race at Charlotte. There's not a driver out there that drives a race car harder than Greg Biffle.
And Larry, that's why I asked him in the pre-race, can you drive too hard? I don't think today you can. A 400 lapper, you better get after it.
Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch. Remember, Kurt won here last fall, driving for Roger Penske. And Jeff Gordon started right where he's running, 14th. And Busch started 9th. He's dropped now to 15th, maybe 16th as Dale Jr. pulls alongside on the inside. Joey Logano with him. Logano won here yesterday.
Yeah, Busch ran 4th here yesterday. So those two guys, they know what the track's got to, they know what they are dealing with here early in this race.
Logano clears a fading Kurt Busch, Keselowski right behind him, and then Martin Truex. And boy, Biffle's car has been loose every lap. For the lead, Mark Martin gets around Jimmie Johnson and made it look as if Jimmie had waved him by.
And maybe did. He may have, because that was pretty planned, looked to me like. Pretty well planned. But I think right now, if I were the rest of the field, the way Jimmie Johnson qualified and the way Jimmie Johnson's running and the way Jimmie Johnson kind of owns this joint, I'd be worried about that 48.
Yeah, Jimmie has led the last 10 races we've run here, and he's led the most laps in 6 of those 10. Biffle and Harvick have a look at the number 16 Ford up top here a couple laps ago.
Whoa, baby. That,
big pile up back straight away.
Oh my gosh.
Looks like 10 cars in it.
There's Tony Stewart.
One Montoya, the 42.
There's so much carnage, I can't tell who all is in it.
Both the BK cars. There's Landon Castle.
There's
You
Scott
just saw
Speed
Travis
and
Quapple, Scott Speed, the 79.
Smokes
But
car.
Tony Stewart, who did not have a great qualifying run, restarted toward the back. Montoya's in it, and Gilliland in the 38. Now watch Tony Stewart side by side with Landon Castle behind McMurray.
Whoa, they make contact right there, and that's a no-no. Jeff Hammond just standing over there in that very spot saying, you know, you got to really watch turn 2. It's treacherous. By golly, he was right.
Reagan gets by, Regan Smith spinning, Montoya down into the wall with Gilliland, and now watch this next group coming in. Here's where it starts. Remember, Jeff said these banks are self-cleaning. Everything slides to the bottom. But somebody turned Michael McDowell, and there's another pile of cars in it.
We talked about it before the race. Things just happen so fast here at this 1 mile racetrack.
You're coming out of that corner, Mike, at 150 miles an hour. And right, even when the spotter's hollering at you, way back there where you see that 78 car get sideways, you just can't slow down. Actually, it was Scott Speed's car.
Stephen Light to the list. It's a big funnel, and everything just all tries to cram into one spot when a car gets sideways. Like this. And now the track is blocked.
Mike Bagley, we talked about how difficult it is to move off the corners here at National Speedway. There is Kasey Point. Yeah, Kasey Point when Tony Stewart.
Nowhere to go.
And you see these guys, you see the tires smoking, and you see them trying to slow down, but you can't stop a race car on a dime when you're going 150 miles an hour.
Up to 79,
Bam.
Scott Speed, yellow number on the roof. He piles into Castle, and he gets tagged by Stephen Light and Joe Nemechek. 13 cars in all are involved, including this one, Casey Mears.
Spin on the middle of two, keep going on the top, outside of it, outside, go to the middle.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. We talked about this at the very beginning of the show, folks. This could be Calamity Corner. I was standing here watching what was going on with Tony and the landing castles, and Tony had been running a high groove a couple of laps before, and he decided to kind of follow. I guess his air pressure had come up. He'd gotten to the bottom of the racetrack. He passed the 34 car, and just as he gained on landing castles, it was like he all but got sideways off this part of the corner. Watching it, Tony was so close, along with Regan Smith. If either one of those cars could have just gotten off the other, it probably would have been a different result. But we talked about it. This is a self-cleaning racetrack. When one person makes a mistake, they all go up, they all come back down. But here on this back straightaway we call the canyon, all of a sudden the canyon was blocked and nowhere to go. And you can see that's the reason why we have a red flag condition, guys. This is one of the byproducts of the Monster Mile.
I actually think, looking at that if 78 car hadn't gotten into the back of Tony Stewart, I don't think we would have had this big of a problem. But that really is what created the bigger mess.
13 cars have at least some damage from this accident. And one reason, as Jeff pointed out, it's Calamity Corner because the following cars are accelerating hard toward the exit and outside of the corner. They can't just dive to the bottom to miss somebody in trouble.
And you can't see all that well right there, Mike. I mean, that literally, you're up in the banking, 24 degrees, and you're coming around that turn into that canyon, and you just have a hard time seeing ahead.
Understand, he's still accelerating.
Yeah,
when they're all checked up ahead of him.
I think he saw the 14 get into Landon, and I think he thought, well, that's casual, and he'll catch it, we'll go on, and he was going to try to make a pass when he really should have been checking up.
Well, that one driver that snuck through there, unlike any of these others, David Streaming at 30, as well as David Reagan in the 34.
The only top 10 starter not in the top 10, Kurt Busch, who pitted. He started 9th, but dropped back.
Almost feel like we'll have to start all over.
Pretty much. Green flag. Comes out at lap 12. Johnson Martin pretty even this time into the corner. A little scattering behind them, and Mark Martin's going to edge away off turn number 2 by half a car length. Johnson breaks early going into turn number 3. So it's Martin by a car length, and as they come off turn 4, the Toyota has the lead. Johnson second, Ryan Newman.
That is so hard to do here. Come off the corner underneath somebody and not make contact.
Bowyer on the bottom against Kyle Busch. That's 5th and 6th. Kenseth settles in behind Newman 4th. And Kyle on the outside may fall to Bowyer here, maybe not. Kyle gets a good run up off turn 4.
Gets that momentum up high like that and get a nice run down the straightaway. What little straightaway there is here.
You know, just watching Matt Kenseth in that 17 car battling Ryan Newman right now in the 39 for 3rd. Matt Kenseth is so good through the middle of the corner. Right there.
Oh, he gets a good drive off and takes 3rd away from Ryan Newman. Meanwhile, at the other end, Jeff Gordon got under Joey Logano, moved up into the top 10.
And you talk about Matt, he's the only guy that's won a race here that lately that didn't name Busch or Johnson.
Bowyer Busch again, they continue their battle side by side. Now it is for 5th place. Kevin Harvick looking on. 29.
And I think across the board, Mike, Larry, these guys will take. Some guys love the feel of the concrete racetrack. Other guys hate it. They just can't get a feel for it. Maybe Tony Stewart's one of those that hates it.
Definitely over the last few years, it's not been kind to Tony Stewart.
Boy, almost contact there between Busch and Bowyer as they cleared turn 2 and got up into the back straightaway, Matt.
And Kyle Busch told his team under the red flag he simply cannot run the bottom of the racetrack at this juncture. You've seen him move up, and he says it when he really charges the corner hard, the car goes to the tight side.
Look behind them, Harvick right there. Kevin Harvick trying Kyle Busch, and he's got a mirror full of Jeff Gordon, who is up to 8th.
And Mike, what you have to be so careful of is when you get the nose stuck up right up against the guy in front of you, it loosens him up. And if he has to pedal the gas at all, you get into him. That's something you really have to deal with.
Could have been contact between Almirola and Keselowski last time by. Eric has the spot, 14th. Brad wants it.
Now, Brad Keselowski in that 2 car, one of the drivers that came to pit road and got 4 fresh tires, he has now cracked the top 15 up to 15th.
Back up front, Mark Martin trying to drive away from Jimmie Johnson. That margin there, it's about 6 car lengths. Call it half a second. It's another full second back to Matt Kenseth.
Well, the first 3 cars are running 24.05, 24.06, and 24.04. So they're just laying right, I mean, just lap after lap right on top of each other.
Keselowski inching closer to the 43, who wags the tail coming off the corner.
And man, you don't want anybody right up against you when you're coming off the corner like that, I can tell you.
They're about to be joined by Martin Truex Jr. in that 56 car. He's up to 16th with 4 fresh tires.
Mark Martin out in front at the Monster Mile. Mark Martin and Jimmie Johnson for the lead. Johnson went by on the outside. He had a big run down into turn number 3 and retakes the lead.
What he did was he changed his line. Jimmie Johnson, he was going in and diamond in the corner. Go in low, up high, and then dive down. He really made up a lot of time.
Jeff Gordon up for 7th there. Here's a look at it. The pass for the lead.
He goes down. He gets in there a little on the high side. Then he kind of runs down the hill, and look at the momentum he gets right there going down the hill.
Yeah, it looks like he's got 100 more horsepower than Mark Martin. It's just the way he got off turn 2.
And he was really distinctively doing it at that in 3 and 4.
Toyota top performers of the race. Mark Martin now 2nd. Clint Bowyer in the top 5. Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano, half the top 10 right now.
And those 3 guys at the front of the field, they've all won races here. And I just tell you, concrete is a different feel. It takes a little different setup. And I think once you get a handle on it, you can consistently back it up because concrete really doesn't change that much from the weather or anything else.
Well, Jimmie Johnson is out in front, but here's the driver who is coming to the front, Jeff Gordon. Krista?
That's right, Mike. Jeff Gordon started 14th. He is up to 7th and passing cars left and right. He said he's still a bit tight, especially no grip on the exit. But man, they need some good luck, and this is a great place for him. 4 wins, leading more laps here than any other active driver. Steve?
Well, Krista, Jeff Gordon just passed Kevin Harvick. Harvick is saying the car is loose when I get on the throttle, and it's also getting loose when I come off the corner.
Yeah, you can see it, Steve. You can see the back of that 29 car moving around the lot on the corner exit.
Denny Hamlin currently in 9th place. Hasn't been the best track for Hamlin. 2 fourths here are his best results. Meanwhile, for 5th rather, Ryan Newman, Kyle Busch.
I think Kyle looked back and he saw the 24 car coming, Larry, and he said, well, I guess I better get going here.
But what's amazing, we got the report not that long ago that Kyle Busch in the 18, that he could not run the bottom, but that's how he made the pass on Ryan Newman in the 39. But we're about halfway through this fuel run now. You know, the driver I've been watching is Jeff Gordon in his 24 car. He started back in the 14th position. He's up to 7th. When the checker flag waves today, we are halfway through the race to the chase. sitting 22nd in points. Jeff Gordon knows he has to win races during these summer months if he wants to make the chase.
Just don't panic. He's a smart guy. Just don't panic.
They're closing in on Ryan Newman. Here's Gordon to the inside to make the pass for 6th place. And Newman drops to 7th, Dick.
Yeah, but Newman has a much better car right now than he had in either race last year. Both races last year, Newman and his teammate Tony Stewart finished laps down and in the 20s. Well, Newman came up with something with his crew at Las Vegas. That's a race that his teammate Stewart won, and that's pretty much what they have got under the car here today. They said they had to try something different. They've got something different, and it's working pretty well, although they need to tune on it.
Well, Dick, they need to try something different with Ryan Newman, because when you go back to his win at Martinsville, his best finish the next 6 races, 14th at Charlotte last week.
Jimmie Johnson has now led in 21 starts, over 2,000 laps at Dover International Speedway. It's Johnson in front of Mark Martin by 1 second. Matt Kenseth third.
You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
Getting ready to restart. Completing lap 116. Jimmie Johnson, Kyle Busch right on his bumper. Mark Martin on the inside did not get as good a restart.
You nailed it. He was on his bumper. He was giving him a shove, baby.
Harvick with a head of steam. Gonna pull up to the outside and then look inside of Martin. Kyle Busch trying to come down, close the door. Not quite enough room to do that. Jimmie Johnson hauls him off turn 4 with Kyle Busch, Mark Martin, Harvick, Kenseth, Edwards, and Gordon.
Harv seemed to be pretty good on new tires. I don't think he can stay up there like that, but he's been pretty good on new tires. There, it just seems to me, every time that 48 comes into pits, they make it a little bit better.
Yes, they do.
Every pit stop. And you know how I know, Larry? Because his lap times every time after a restart or after they come out of the pits are always a little bit quicker than the time before. That's a 24:10. That's a fast lap.
Saturday night's baseball on Fox, and what a great game last night with the Tigers pulling it out in the bottom of the 9th against the Yankees, who had tied it in the top of the inning. It was a big cliffhanger. Tim and Joe had a great show. Great game on Fox. Saturday night baseball.
Do they make a lot of noise playing baseball?
Compared to this, no.
Not as much as we're getting ready to.
Time to crank it up. Carl Edwards, Jeff Gordon, 6th place right here.
That 24 car, Larry, is bad to the bone. Did you see him cut off turn 4 underneath Carl Edwards and make that pass? That means that car is sticking to the racetrack.
Just appears that Jeff Gordon's good on the short run and the long run right now.
Pretty good piece under him right now. But Larry, you know why Jimmie Johnson's out there just running off and leaving everybody the way he is? That's what he gets paid to do.
This is true.
He gets paid to go out there and lap this field if he can.
Teammate Dale Earnhardt Jr. we're riding with back in the 8th position right now.
You heard the engine as he came off the corner at turn 2, and the car gets light as it transitioned from 24 degrees banking down to 9 degrees. The RPM jumps up, just all in a day's work.
That's 850 horses trying to get loose.
Two of our Dodge Chargers, the Penske cars, battling there with Jeff Burton. There's where the Dodge Chargers of the race. Now 17 and 18.
Burton said, where are these guys all coming from, man? They're coming left, right?
A.J. Allmendinger in that 22, he just got the free pass on that lost caution back on the lead lap.
This guy right here, that 24 car, like, he's on the move.
Motivation.
He's moving.
Jeff Gordon came in here 22nd in points to make the chase for the Sprint Cup. After Richmond in September, you need to be in the top 10 in points, or you need to be the driver with the most wins in point positions 11 through 20. Right now, Gordon is not in the top 20, and he has not won.
If I'm in a hole, and I want a guy in my car that can dig me out of that hole, you're looking at him. This guy right here with his experience, his knowledge, his patience, don't count that man out.
Clint Bowyer inside Joey Logano, 10th place here, 6 seconds behind the lead, and Bowyer moves through. Boy, Harvick almost banged Mark Martin out of the way coming off 2. Yeah, Mark now falls to Jeff Gordon because coming off 2, something happened to Mark Martin's forward momentum.
This last time in, I don't know what adjustments they made to the 55, but they went the wrong way, I guarantee you, because he's been getting past, or he's not running the same as he was at the start of this race.
Same lane. Gordon had to pedal it, and Harvick almost got into him.
Yeah, if you have to roll out the throttle any at all, it's just going to kill that momentum down that back straightaway.
All right, Matt's in our pole sitters pick.
Mike still fighting the same issue for Mark Martin. Free on entry, free on exit. Just cannot get back in the gas. No grip.
And you can see the car. It's almost like he's using a lot of brake when he gets off in the corner. You can see the car really slow when he gets the corner entry because the car is loose.
And even though he sat on the pole yesterday, he actually had that complaint about that race car when he qualified.
Right. So he falls to 5th with Kenseth and Edwards coming.
And look, always looking back, getting a little look behind here. Got a lot of wheel. You see him get that right arm up on top of that wheel. That's just for support, but watch his eyes. Gives a little glance back, checks his line, see if nobody's up on the outside. Car doesn't look loose just watching him, but Mark Martin drives that way. It could be loose as heck and you never know it. And look how he's tucked in that thing. I mean, he's so safe in there. It's a little cocoon he sits in. And it's just his head. You don't have to worry about your neck going out because you're laying up against that headrest all the time.
Mark Martin trying to become the first pole sitter to win in the Sprint Cup Series. In the last 30 races, we have tied the longest streak since a pole winner's gone to victory lane, set more than 20 years ago.
Jimmie Johnson's won here from the pole.
6th place, Kenseth and Edwards. Only 2 Fords in the top 10, along with 3 Toyotas, 5 Chevrolets. Jeff Gordon goes for 3rd and takes it away from Kevin Harvick.
Jeff's car just looks so good. He gets in the corner nice, but man, he gets back in the gas so quickly, making great time around this racetrack.
Jimmie Johnson, your leader at Dover. KFC's fully maxed meal offers your chance to win one of 17,000 fully maxed prizes. A home theater system, the ultimate Jeff Gordon race day experience, even a new Camaro. Today tastes so good. Details at KFC.com.
You know, Larry, another guy that looks like they made some nice adjustments on their cars, Kevin Harvick. He's there in 4th place. Actually getting pretty close to catching up with our 3rd place runner there, Kyle Busch. What are they saying in the pit down there, Bernsey?
Hey, DW, just heard Harv. He said, the crew chief Shane Wilson, he said, I don't need a whole lot on our next stop. He said, I'm just a little bit tight in places and a little bit loose. They're going to make a small air pressure adjustment, DW.
Nice.
But you know, Darrell, what I'm seeing here, it's almost like this track is going through a change. We're starting to see some drivers move forward and some move backwards, like Mark Martin, our pole sitter, and you just saw Matt Kenseth in the 17 as well.
Now Kenseth backing up. Jeff Gordon has passed Kyle Busch for 2nd. So Kyle now in 3rd, and you see that interval growing, Matt.
You hit out of perfectly, Mike. We're seeing this racetrack change, and Kyle Busch is one of those drivers experiencing it. His car was tight during the first portion of this run, but it's progressively gotten freer and freer, and that's why you're seeing him adjust his line, moving up a little bit more off the bottom into the middle of the racetrack.
That layer of rubber that they lay down, I mean, it truly is a layer of rubber. It lays on top of this. It's concrete. It can't go down into pores like it does on asphalt, so it lays on top of this concrete surface, and it creates a really slick surface, Dick.
Yeah, and Clint Bowyer has just been told exactly what you said. Bowyer had been complaining that the back of the car has no grip, and the crew just explained what you just explained. To tell Bowyer, hang on, we'll get the back end hooked up later.
And air pressure, Larry knows this, air pressure here is huge. The tires go through these bumps and these cracks and expansion. That's a great battle right here between Eric Almirola and the 20 car there made the pass.
Yeah, that moves Almirola back up to 11th, Matt.
Mike, the King's car with Almirola behind the wheel is on the move. He doesn't have an issue like everyone else where the car is free. His issue is trying to stop the car. He says his brake pedal is absolutely killing him. He's having to lift out of the throttle early because he has too much play in his brake pedal. Losing the brakes on the 43. He said if we had brakes, boy, we would be something.
His lap times are really not that bad. For the 2nd week in a row, he's making his first career start in the Sprint Cup Series at the track.
Just remember last week they had a hub problem, and it turned, you know, they started complaining first about the brakes, and it was actually a hub problem. Back to the retaliation. When I see drivers retaliate against each other, I always say to myself, who's this hurt? Saw it with Kevin Harvick and his teammate, the 27 car last week in the Charlotte, Menard. Who did it hurt? It ended up hurting Harvick. Got to be careful when you retaliate.
Denny Hamlin 17th, another of those drivers needing a bit of improvement on this next stop. 8th place, Kasey Kahne. Coming up against Matt Kenseth. Kahne moving forward, and Kenseth sliding a bit, Steve.
And Kasey Kahne, his crew chief Kenny France was gaining on it. When the race started, Mike, Kasey Kahne was way too loose. Now he's saying my left front is not working at the start of the run. It feels like it's not in the track. The longer I go, the better it gets.
Kahne to the outside. Makes the pass, and on the left of your screen, 3rd place heats up. Kyle Busch in the 18, Kevin Harvick 29.
We're about 20 laps, 15 to 20 laps away from what will be green flag pit stops. I think another thing that's happened, we've got a substantial cloud covering that's come over this racetrack just in the last 10 or 15 minutes. That will change the way these cars are gripping this racetrack.
But, Larry, not as dramatically as if it was asphalt, because this concrete is not quite so sensitive. It will change it slightly, but when you're on the edge, slightly is a lot.
Harvick keeps nibbling away at the bottom, trying to get past Kyle Busch, who has that good run up off the corner on the top of the racetrack. Kyle chases it up the hill, and Harvick is there.
Been pretty impressed with the changes they made on Harvick's car in those first couple of pit stops. They have got that car hooked up pretty good. The lap times are decent. He's the 3rd quickest car on the track right now. Just went around Kyle Busch.
3rd place.
He's going somewhere.
Bad news for race leader Jimmie Johnson. Jeff Gordon not long ago ran his fastest lap of the race and is coming. We get ready for the restart. Jimmie Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Hendrick Chevrolet teammates, along with Dale Earnhardt Jr., all battling for the lead with Kevin Harvick.
That 48 car's bad fast on these restarts, and he's good on new tires. It'll be interesting to see if Jeff Gordon's got anything for his teammates.
I think this will be the first time if we really can see if Jeff Gordon can run with Jimmie Johnson.
Lap times into the run, they were pretty equal, but I think Jimmie might be a little quicker on these get-goes.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. up for third against Harvick and Kenseth. He was really looking forward to today's race. Likes the complexity of this racetrack. All the Hendrick cars, all four in the top 10.
Yeah, and Larry, I think you mentioned this to me the other day, that the garage area right now is a nervous wreck about where these Hendrick cars are right now.
All four of them have speed every single week, doesn't matter what type of racetrack.
They single file it out after the restart. Here's Matt.
Mike, fast race car, disappointing finish for Carl Edwards. Did it give you any indication the tire was going to go?
No indication. Just drove down the corner. I was having a blast. We were running well, going to the front. Just really frustrated with that good of a race car to be sitting in here. But I think we had a tire go down. I don't know if we ran over something or whatever, but man, it's just such a fun racetrack. Car was so fast. I hope Matt or Greg can win this thing, but I'll go get a sub sandwich and we'll get it fixed. We'll get all the points we can.
Jimmie Johnson leading Matt Kenseth by 2 seconds. Here's an inside look at what's happening in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Brought to you by Sprint. Jimmie Johnson, fastest lap of the race and most laps led by a huge margin. To get unlimited access to the series, live in-car audio and real-time stats, you need the NASCAR Sprint Cup mobile Android app, now available on the HTC Evo 4G Lite. Learn more at sprint.com/speed. 136 laps to go, 7 of the last 8 Dover races. Jimmie Johnson has led the halfway lap. And in 8 races here, he has led the most laps.
And Mike, if I were he, I just wouldn't get real comfortable with my car. Tell you why, there's a couple of guys lurking back there. Mark Martin, one of them, is matching his lap times. And I tell you, Harvick gets back up there. He's pretty fast too.
Mark Martin, our pole sitter, now 5 seconds back of the lead, and Kevin Harvick resurging from that pit road miscue by Harvick. He is 9 seconds back in 9th place. And after the pit stop under green, Jeff Gordon is almost 2 laps down. Coming into the day, Greg Biffle was our points leader. Denny Hamlin was the runner-up. Where are they now? Matt.
Mike, rough day for the first and third in the championship standings now. Greg Biffle, 2 wins here, loves this place. He can drive aggressive, power off into the corner, but he has struggled most of the day, jumping back and forth between too free and too tight. They just cannot seem to hit on it. That window of the perfect setup, very narrow here. Meanwhile, right behind him in the scoring rundown in 18th is Denny Hamlin. We documented earlier, not one of his better racetracks. He calls his racing here very mediocre, just not ever able to hit on it, and they haven't hit on it today. Driving one of the older cars in their fleet, running 18th, the car has been tight from the drop of the green.
But I tell you, his teammate is having a pretty darn good go of it today. Joey Logano in that 20 car sitting there running in the 6th position, and Dick, what are they saying in their pit?
Well, they're doing a whole lot better than they did in practice, Darrell. This morning when I went to that car in the garage, they were hauling out an entire wagon full of springs, and they threw something at it that they really didn't know if it was going to work or not. But it has worked. It has worked well. Right now, Joey Logano is in the 6th position. That means he's picked up 1 spot since he pitted.
You know what they threw at it? I bet they threw that setup they run yesterday at it. because he won here yesterday.
Yeah, he did win that race that we ran here yesterday. And, you know, Joe Gibbs said this past week when he was asked about Joey Logano's status at Joe Gibbs Racing, he said, well, I'm a little bit puzzled. Joey has now won 4 of those support races, and 2 of them he beat Denny Hamlin. He beat my other driver, the driver that's up there well up inside the top 5 in points.
Got to perform in the big show.
Well, and the big difference in those 2 cars, this car, the Cup car, has much more horsepower, appears to have less downforce, so, Darrell, it has to be different to drive.
What when we first heard about Joey Logano, where did we first hear about him at? In the East Series, in the Saturday Series. And when he moved up to Cup, I think they just moved him up so quick. I'm just not sure he ever got his legs under him the way he would like to in these Cup cars. He's done a good job, but he's got 1 win. And that's 1 win when it was a rain-shortened race.
True.
Fastest cars on the racetrack right now: Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Jimmie Johnson and Matt Kenseth are between them. Kenseth is closing on Johnson, who is losing ground to the race leader, his teammate.
Yeah, I think what Jeff Gordon's trying to do is get the biggest gap he can get. So if he has to pit, he's going to have to pit before these other guys get the biggest gap you can get in case a caution would fly.
Krista?
Yeah, that is exactly the plan. They are working the math right now. Their plan is to come in around lap 326. If they can make it to there, they feel they can do this on just 1 more stop. So right now, what they thought was a detriment could be an advantage for Jeff Gordon.
Well, all they can do, Krista, is split the run in half, as we see Eric Almirola in the 43 go by Joey Logano and Harvick as well in the 29. That's a battle right now for 7th place.
Well, I can see why Joey had to pedal it. He and Almirola went 4 laps side by side. That allowed Harvick to close. And finally, Logano said, no mas.
No mas. Take it.
So Almirola moves up to 7th, Harvick to 8th, and Logano sits in 9th. Mark Martin now 10th. Dropped a few spots in the pit stop exchange.
Oh, 51 car. Sorry.
Is he okay, Darrell?
Yeah, the 51 car got way up the hill over there in turn 2. I thought he was out of here.
Yeah, Kurt Busch right now 23rd, 7 laps down. But just to put that period on Krista Voter's report, that's the only hope that Jeff Gordon and his crew that they have making that unscheduled stop is split the run in half, 75 laps and 75 laps. They pitted at lap 250. And I think that's doable on fuel.
Imagine when they pitted, they fell back to 21st. Here they are leading the race.
And then all of our other lead lap drivers should have to make their pit stop somewhere around lap 350 to 355.
87 laps to go. Look at the lead Johnson has built. 1 second over Harvick, 2 seconds over Earnhardt, then Kenseth and Bowyer.
Well, I've been watching this 48 car. He's been running 24, 20s, and 30s on restarts. Right now, he just ran a 23.90. He is on it. Wow. He ramped it up.
Seems there's nobody better at figuring out this tricky concrete racetrack as it goes through different changes and cycles through the day. Nobody better at it than Jimmie Johnson and Chad Knaus. What about the 3rd place car, Krista?
Well, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has gone from tight to loose in this race. They have just continually tightened it up. But on that last stop, he said, no, I don't need it tightened up anymore. I am turning. They just told him, you got 2 good corners. Now go get those 2 guys in front of you.
He is 1 second, make that 2 seconds off the lead. 42 laps to go. How about a last chance for 2012 for a NASCAR on Fox? Crank it up. 37 laps to go. Jimmie Johnson stretching it out.
Oh, trouble right here, front straightaway, 31 car up in smoke.
Jeff Burton is blown up.
Stay out there, stay out there, stay out there, stay out there. Still coming, stay out there, man, stay out there.
And he had a great top 10 day going after starting about in the top 15.
That's the third engine failure that we've had here at Dover today. Normally Dover is not that hard on engines.
If I were Jeff Gordon, I'd be licking my chops because you know why? I might just come back to pit road and get me 4 more new tires.
Denny Hamlin will be the free pass car. Just in front of Greg Biffle and Marcus Ambrose. Jeff Burton's day goes up in smoke. He was in 9th place at the time. 31 laps before someone drives into Sunoco victory lane. Green flag. Harvick even with Johnson at the start finish. Jimmie pulls away just a little bit. Kenseth got a good restart but can't capitalize. Harvick right with Johnson off turn 2.
Boy, Kevin Harvick jumped in that throttle trying to get that run. It just wouldn't quite stick over there in turn 2.
Tell you what, you better get some going when he's behind you because he's a hungry hound.
Is it closing time?
It might be. We know where he came from today.
That's right.
I just think it's been an awesome job he's done to get back to where he is.
Truex side by side with Almirola. They battled each other all day long. Fought hard for 6th place, and Marcus Ambrose is right with them.
It's a great recovery for Marcus Ambrose in that 9 car. He had his hands full the first part of this race.
He has no choice. He's had to go all day long, and he has no brakes.
Here's your 5-hour energy big move of the race, and it's this restart. Watch the 29 of Kevin Harvick and how he is able from the inside to stay with Jimmie Johnson as they roll through turns 1 and 2 under green and come off the corner solidly in 2nd place. Challenge from Kenseth. Harvick powers out of the corner and he's 2nd. 14th place, Jeff Gordon trying to drive to the front. He just passes Allmendinger for 14th.
And it wasn't an easy pass either. Allmendinger really put up a fight, but Jeff's a little bit better than he is.
So now Gordon sets his sight on our points leader coming into Dover. Greg Biffle in the 16 car up there in 13th.
Looks like Gordon will get back to the top 10. But it also looks like time's going to run out for him to run down his teammates at the front. Jimmie Johnson, the leader, Earnhardt in 4th. And here's other teammate, Kasey Kahne, battling the Penske Dodge of Keselowski.
If you came to pit road on this caution and you got tires, you're hoping there's another caution. That could be a big advantage.
Logano and Ambrose side by side. Gordon has passed Newman as this battle for 9th. Another nice day for Richard Petty Motorsports Fords.
Yeah, they ran great last week. The 9 car had trouble, but today they're both getting really good finishes.
Well, Ambrose had great runs here last year, as well as the 43 car last year with A.J. Allmendinger.
Well, we just had a problem there off turn 2. The 20 car broke the momentum of the 9, opened the door for Kasey Kahne in the 5.
I think Ambrose will hold him off, though. That number 9 has been good coming off the corner.
That's a engine number 9, looking pretty good.
Keselowski and Biffle are right there on Kasey Kahne.
Boy, Keselowski got the good run off turn 2. He's going to take the bottom away from Kahne. Biffle trying to follow, but Kahne gets a great run there.
Keselowski slips off of 4. Biffle is there and makes the pass. 23 laps to go in Dover. Jimmie Johnson leads Kevin Harvick by 1.3. 19 laps to go in Dover, Delaware. Jimmie Johnson, the leader. Of the 8 races in which Johnson has led more than 225 laps, he's gone to victory lane in 7 of those 8 races. He's already led 271 today, and he's pulling away from Kevin Harvick by a couple of hundredths per lap. Harvick did a great job on the restart to establish himself in 2nd after coming from a long way back. Matt Kenseth, best of the Fords all day. He is 3rd. Dale Jr. Chevrolet 4th and Clint Bowyer's Toyota 5th. There's the interval. Harvick gains a little, loses just a little. That's got to be frustrating.
Oh, it's
to be that close and able to get no closer.
But you also know how good that 48 car's been all day. And I think Harvick really was motivated by the problem he had in the pits to get back to where he is. I don't care who you are. You're just going to sit there and watch that 48 car out your windshield. When that 48 car is on, and Larry knows this, when that thing is on, it's almost impossible to beat those guys.
That's the way it's certainly been today. We knew watching him in Friday's practice, and then when he went out and qualified second, it's like, whoa, be into the competitor.
I say it all the time, but when they qualify well, the first 4 or 5, they're going to be tough in a race. You can count on it.
All of our top 5 started in the top 6 spots, except Dale Earnhardt Jr., who's come from 17th today.
Well, Jimmie's coming off turn 2 right now, and Jeff Gordon, who we kind of were tracking, he just went by the start-finish line. He's almost a half lap down to the leader.
Right now, Jeff Gordon sitting back in the 13th position. He was in a quest today to get his 400th career top 10 finish in Sprint Cup. Got a lot of work to do in a short time to do it to get there.
Yeah, he's got 3 guys here lined up pretty good, but Keselowski's been holding him up quite a bit. Biffle's up there, and looks like Marcus is up there too, so he could possibly get by those guys, but not looking good.
He is less than a second behind the 10th place car. As we all know, catching them's one thing, passing them another. 12 to go for Jimmie Johnson. And Harvick has carved a 10th off of Johnson's lead, but it's 1.4 seconds with 12 laps to go.
Yeah, well, with 12 laps to go, Jimmie's now being a little on the conservative side, thinking about what if there was another caution. He and Chad Canals, most of these guys are thinking, what would I do if there were a caution now?
Look, Kevin Harvick running in the second position. He has not had a top 5 finish since finishing 4th at Auto Club Speedway roughly about 2 months ago.
And that time by, Johnson ran a 24:37 and Harvick ran a 24:55. He got a couple of tenths all just about in the bank all day long.
Now Kevin had to pedal it there for a lapped car. Not quite sure where Travis Kvapil was going to be when he caught him mid-corner. Matt Kenseth, best of the Fords today, and the other driver besides Johnson, who you would most expect to end up in victory lane at Dover.
And the thing about Jimmie Johnson, he has no traffic. No. It's clear sailing from here to the finish line. So all he's got to do is keep Harvick at bay, drive his race, don't make any mistakes, got it in the bag.
Clint Bowyer's actually the fastest car on the racetrack in 5th place, 4.2. And Eric Almirola, you know, he drives like a veteran. It's easy to lose sight of the fact that this is his first time ever at Dover in a Sprint Cup car.
He won a truck race here a couple of years ago, but making his first start in the Sprint Cup. And here's a guy that I know came here wanting to win this race. Martin Truex Jr. looks at it as a home track. Really was off when he dropped the green flag, but he has fought and clawed his way, sitting in 7th right now, but a little bit of pressure from Joey Logano in that 20.
Logano, winner yesterday here in the Saturday race.
Kasey Kahne, he's fought his way into the top 10. He hadn't had the kind of day I thought he would have after coming off that victory at Charlotte last week, but a solid top 10.
And Marcus Ambrose trying to hold off Greg Biffle. How many laps ago was it we could see the whole right side of Ambrose's car as it came straight at us off, well, it wasn't straight, but as we looked straight down the backstretch, off turn 2, he was just flat sideways.
I think that's what we're seeing with Greg Biffle in the 16 now as he's trying to get by Ambrose.
Yeah,
all day long.
Working on each other pretty good. Their cars have looked a lot alike all day long. Awesome. And the Biff's another one that I kind of thought would have a better day than he had.
Look how close it would be at the top in the positions they're running with 6 laps to go. Greg Biffle would hold off Matt Kenseth, his teammate, for the point lead by just 1.
Well, here's the other thing that the 48 car is thinking about too, Larry. This is a race that's in the chase, and they like to have their car right for those chase races. Think about where they win at leading up to the chase. the tracks that are in the chase.
Exactly. But it's amazing, 13 races, and those two teammates, as we run right now, only 1 point, one position apart from each other.
Well, it's a long way to Richmond.
Yes, it is. We're halfway there.
.6 seconds, the difference first to second. 4 laps to go.
4 laps to go, and Junior's actually catching Kenseth a little bit here. Lap times are just a skosh better.
There's Matt in blue and yellow and Junior in green, and Bowyer continues to be one of the quickest cars here.
Making a late charge here, just trying to get up there. Don't think there's enough laps left, but still making a nice run here at the end.
This has been a great weekend for Clint Bowyer. Qualified great, had to overcome some problems on pit road early when Ryan Newman hit some of his crew members. Here he is sitting in the top 5.
Well, if everybody minds their manners and Jimmie Johnson's holding his breath, Chad Knaus is holding his breath, next time by will be the white flag.
Marcus Ambrose quickest in that lap, trying to make some time from 10th.
Here comes Jimmie off turn 4.
1 more lap, dog. That's what we need.
It's a done deal.
Nobody ahead, and Kevin Harvick now 2 seconds behind. Then Kenseth, Earnhardt, and Bowyer. 3 Chevys, a Ford, and a Toyota in the top 5. Winner at Darlington. 8th on the all-time win list. 7th Dover win, tying Richard Petty and Bobby Allison for the most here. Jimmie Johnson wins the FedEx 400, benefiting Autism Speaks, his 57th career win.
Wonderful job, everybody. Jimmie, you whipped them today, man. Maximum points today, man. That was fantastic.
I like max points.
Jimmie Johnson led 289 laps, including the final 76.
You know why you do it that way? Because the track's banked, and that's where you'd end up if you tried to do a donut.
Or like Greg Biffle a few years ago going through the outside gate.
That's a good point. Not a lot of room here for a burnout.
Boy, it wasn't that many weeks ago. Everyone was asking, where is Jimmie Johnson in the 48 team? I think we found them.
They woke up a sleeping giant when they did.
Hey, bro.
Well, the day started with the season's biggest pileup, 13 cars on lap 9, including defending Sprint Cup champ Tony Stewart, and it ends up with another dominating performance by the driver of the Lowe Chevrolet. Jimmie Johnson just unstoppable today in Dover. We'll be back for Victory Lane, post-race celebration, and more stories from the garage. You're watching NASCAR on Fox.
And down in Victory Lane, the ageless Dick Berggren to congratulate.
Wow, and what a haircut on today's winner. Jimmie, another dominating performance here at Dover. What was the element that was the most important that led to today's success?
Man, it was a team effort. Obviously, I had an amazing Lowe Chevrolet to drive today. I think that 24 was the car to beat. Had a few tenths on us, but he had some troubles. I think the way we protected the win was pit road. You know, last week was hard on us, but this week these guys stepped up and did it every time I was on pit road. And awesome day for this Madagascar 3 Lowe Chevrolet.
All right, what's the story with the haircut?
Well, the hair growth has to do with the movie here. Afro Circus is something that should ring a bell the most. But all these characters wear this at some point in the movie, and I couldn't resist but to put it on today.
You look lovely. Chris Myers.
Thank you for all that you've done for our sport. We're going to miss you, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.